By the candidates, Andrew K. Ward will be first.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'll come up here, I won't do the podium thing. Well, first of all, thank you. I want to thank my wife and kids. Are you down one? Just down two, just down one now, for being here tonight. They're the ones, honestly, that suffer the most, if you will, from me getting the opportunity to be on the board. As the members of the board will attest, we're spending anywhere from 12 to 15 to 20 hours a week, weekends, phone calls, and a lot of time in and out of committee meetings. If I'm honored with serving again next year, I've let the board know that I do not want to be a candidate for president again. The bad news in that is I have to go back to serving on committees, but I see that as the good news because as for any of you who have been able to attend a board meeting know, the work of our board really happens in committee. So thank you to my family and to my friends. I've got lots of folks who've asked to have signs and supportive of it, and I truly appreciate that. To give you a little resume of mine, I'm sure a lot of you may know me from being on the board and being an attorney here in town, but I actually grew up in Remsen. I grew up in Steuben. We didn't even have a post office in Steuben. And was educated in the Remsen High School. My parents were school teachers in Holland Patton for 30 years. I then went on to Union College on Schenectady and on to law school in University of Dayton in Ohio before returning back here, running into my wife the second day after I returned and dating for about 6 months and getting engaged. So 16 years later, I've got two great kids that are in the district and one who will be in another year and a half. Here in the community, in addition to being on the board for the last 5 years, I served for 11 years on the Red Cross board and also currently serve on the UCP board, as well as the ARC Guardianship Committee, and here on the board. There's a few other boards in there. I'm not allowed to mention them all because they make my wife mad when she sees how much time I'm out of the house. But this board is a board that I take to heart because as much as I love working with UCP, the ARC, and helping on the guardianship committee there for people who don't have someone else to speak for them, this is the board where I'm able to help affect my kids' education, and an education that I'm very proud of. My wife did graduate from New Hartford, and we chose from when we were looking at homes to move back here to give our children the same opportunity. I won't go through details because I think you just heard them all, but the budget details are something that I'm very proud of having a role in. I can't take a lot of credit for those things because this is truly a team effort. It's an effort of the administration, it's an effort of the board. It's also an effort of the teachers and the principals and the folks that are there every day trying to keep aware that we're trying to keep costs down. Teachers, when we talk about losing 34 positions over the last several years, what that means is there are fewer teachers to do the same job and to teach the same children. And so that means that they're burdened more with the amount of work they have to do. In addition to the APPR requirements, the Common Core requirements, and those things which truly tax on their day. Little things like having to keep attendance of when children come and leave from the room for special things and going to the bathroom. Those are new requirements on them that they just have to take on. They don't have a choice. So I think that it's a true team effort in those things. With all those issues and with all those extra requirements, our students still our students still perform very well, both locally, statewide, and nationally, and we've been recognized for that. And I think that recognition, as much as the board and the school likes to take credit, I think a lot of that goes to the parents and the students who are the ones that are working hard and doing that as well. So I think it goes all the way around. I've always tried to make myself available to parents. I know there's a lot of controversy over sports issues, and I've always tried to make myself available to listen to parents on those issues. Most recently, there were a number of parents that wanted to see me to talk about the state testing and issues with opting out, and we spent an hour or so, in addition to phone calls and above and beyond that, to discuss those issues. Myself and really everyone on this board has always been open to hearing those conversations and giving everyone the opportunity to speak and be heard. We can't always give them the answer that they like. Sometimes we're not allowed to talk about some of the things that they like, and I think if you understand the issues of privacy and personnel law, et cetera, there are certain things that we can't discuss in detail. But we do take all the things you say very seriously and take that into consideration. Lastly, I'd like to just thank my board and the folks that we've worked with either from a matter of about a year to up to 5 years, and say that, you know, their work and their effort, their choice of me to have me represent them as president for the last 2 years, and the work that they do every day should be thanked. I always tell people when I'm approached in the grocery store, when I'm approached on the baseball field, you know, they say, geez, you know, I can't believe you're on the board, you know, thank you so much for your time and effort. And I always laugh because people call this a thankless job. They're like, oh, it's such a thankless job. I've been thanked more times in the last 5 years for doing this than I think for almost anything else I do. It doesn't mean that I don't appreciate it, and it doesn't mean that there's a lot of times when it is a thankless job. You know, when I walked into the house last Tuesday night at about 11:15, you know, that feels a little thankless. But when you see the results for our children, when you see the efforts that are put forth by our teachers and our administration every day, it makes you feel good about it. So I would appreciate your support. I would appreciate your consideration next week, a week from today. We'll be counting up the votes in about an hour and 1 week from right now. So thank you very much.